Yes, episode number 282, Tommy Maroon Sports Show, right here on WCTV. Tommy Maroon here. Hoping you are enjoying today, because I know for a fact I am. We have 50 days till high school football is back. I can't believe it. The first Friday night of the football season. 50 days. I cannot wait. I know you folks at home cannot wait either. But before we do that, let's look at the Cleveland Guardians and the guy who leads the Guardians in strikeouts, and the guy I was going to show you in a second, Luis Ortiz, he's under investigation. I don't know what for, but he's in some deep trouble now. And it's really hard to believe. Oh my goodness. I mean, who would have thunk it? I thought he wasn't doing bad. He leads the Guardians with 96 strikeouts and a 237 average. I'm hearing he's got some gambling. That might be the issue. But it's not the only issue plaguing the Guardians, because everything is plaguing the Guardians. Good God, they're not doing that well lately on a really rough 6-game skid. And look at that. The Cubs have been killing them. The Cardinals were killing them over the weekend. Let's look and see what happened over the last 5 games, which all of them were losses, which is pretty bad. So in game 1, Alec Burleson hit a home run for St. Louis. And there was just one measly hit. Oh, you gods, one measly hit for the Cleveland Guardians last Friday night, which was pretty bad. In fact, when I say pretty bad, I mean it was not good at all. One lousy hit. My God, that is not good. That is not good at all. Let me check, when was it? I know it was, let's see here. It was David Fry, Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs singled. That was it. Broke up the no-hitter. Was the only time the Guardians got a hit that day. Sonny Gray went the distance. He also didn't give up a walk. Oh my goodness, that was one of the most pathetic games I've ever seen. 11 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. It shows that the Guardians just are lacking that special something. Manzardo hit a home run in game 2, and Guardians scored 6 runs in 1 inning in game 2. And they still lost, because things are not going too swimmingly for them. And to make matters worse, in game 3, Gabriel Arias tried to field a ground ball to his right, and it looked like he hurt himself pretty bad. Oh boy. Can't catch a break, can they? And he's going to be out for a while. Nolan Gorman had a 3-run bomb for those Cardinals in game 3. In this series right here, the Guardians have officially lost the series to the Chicago Cubs, down 2-0. Game 1 was rather rough, as we saw Seiya Suzuki homer in game 1, and Carson Kelly have 3 RBIs in game 1. Carson Kelly, of course, the catcher for the Cubs, he's not doing bad. And Matthew Boyd, a familiar face, Matthew Boyd, that dude right there. 7 innings pitched, not too shabby. Of course, the Guardians, last night, Tanner Bybee got knocked out of the box within 4 innings because he threw 96 pitches in 4 innings. That's unheralded. Gave up 5 runs in the process, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. His ERA got worked up like it was crazy or something like that. David Fry did hit a home run. Lane Thomas hit a home run, and so did Carlos Santana, but they still lost. Oh boy, how does it look? Not too good. The Guardians set out a 40-44 record. Not the worst, but far from the best, of course. And a massive 12.5 back in Detroit for that top seed in the American League Central. Obviously, it looks like the AL Central seems to be a lost cause. You know what they say when you're in the 4th of July and you got a commanding lead in your division, odds are you're probably making the playoffs. Detroit is most certainly going to make the playoffs, barring something insane. And Guardians sit 12.5 back, tied for second place. Kansas City 14 back. the White Sox doing White Sox things, so there won't be a concern. But what will be a concern is, can the Guardians turn this around? Because you know who's coming into town starting tomorrow? The Detroit Tigers. Dear God, Detroit, they are not doing shabby, as I mentioned. It'll be Slade Ciccone on the mound game 1, Logan Allen game 2, Gavin Williams game 3. Yeah, everybody's turning on the Guardians. That ain't good. But what is good is high school football. You know it, folks. High school football predictions part 2. As mentioned, we have 50 days till high school football is back. And I figured, you know what? Why not do 2 more conferences/leagues? And we're going to do the Greater Cleveland Conference and the Federal League. Two very good conferences in Northeast Ohio. Of course, the Greater Cleveland Conference is having a big shake-up starting next year. When Medina's out, they're heading for the National Conference. Oh my goodness, who would have thunk it? The National Conference of the Suburban League, just like the good old Highland Hornets. Anyways, as I was saying, Mentor, I think, is going to run that GCC 10-0, 7-0, of course. And Medina will finish second, 7-3, 5-2. Speaking of 7-3, 5-2, that's why I have the Cleveland Heights Tigers at. And the Brunswick Blue Devils, they have a pretty simple schedule in my books. 6-4, 4-3. Strongsville Mustangs, 5-5, 4-3. Shaker Heights, they'll be 3-7, 2-5, and Lorain 4-6, 1-6. Loraine's new to the league, or new to the conference. I noticed that because they're playing all those schools, which I find to be pretty interesting. We'll see how things fare for them in their first season in the, Greater Cleveland Conference. But anyways, the Euclid Panthers sitting in dead last. They'll be 1-9, 0-7. Then we have the Federal League. Yes, sir. The Lake Blue Streaks, I think, will run it. 8-2, 6-0. Green Bulldogs, 7-3, 4-2. The Jackson Polar Bears, 6-4, 3-3. Speaking of 3-3, that's why I think Hoover's going to go. And speaking of 5-5, Prairie Panthers are going to be 5-5. So there is that. Canton McKinley, 4-6. Glen Oak, 3-7. So there is that. We'll see how things fare for those schools out there. I can't wait to see what happens. We also can't believe is that we got a bunch of big GCC games, of course. I'll get you through them, folks. Of course, Brea Mid-Park is going to Brunswick week 1, and Brunswick has Olmsted Falls week 2. Cleveland Heights taking on Chardon, hosting Chardon week 2. That'll be a good game. What else is out there? Medina Wadsworth week 3 is also going to be a pretty good game in my book. Mentor's going to Erie McDowell as well. I always say Highland's going to Erie McDowell week 1. Well, guess what? The next week, Mentor's going to go to McDowell week 2. So there is that. And they play St. Ignatius week 3. And Strongsville has, let's see here, Solon week 2 and Avon Lake week 1. But anyways, the big GCC games, as you can tell right there, folks, include Brunswick Mentor, Cleveland Heights Strongsville, both week 4, Mentor Medina week 5, Cleveland Heights Mentor week 6, Medina Cleveland Heights week 7, Medina Brunswick week 8, and finally Brunswick Strongsville week 10. And now for the Federal League, let's look at some of the big games out there. Of course, you cannot talk Federal League without talking about the fact that Canton McKinley is responsible for being part of the biggest rivalry in all of high school football. That's right, the Massillon Washington Tigers against the Canton McKinley Bulldogs. That'll be week 10, of course, at the Hall of Fame Stadium. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So Canton McKinley is trying to snap that funk there in. We'll see if they can do it or whatnot. They have lost a lot over the last few years to Massillon Washington. And of course, Ken McKinley's going to Cleveland Heights week 3. So there is that. Glen Oaks playing Massillon Washington week 2. At Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. Hoover's going to Medina week 2. What else is out there? Austintown Fetch is hosting Jackson week 2. And then the week prior to that, Jackson's hosting Chardon. What else? Looking at everything. Yep, that's just some of the many things going on in the wonderful world of high school football, which once again, 50 days from now, cannot wait. It should be entertaining. Anyways, I don't know if you heard, but college basketball is making a comeback in the video games department. It's looking really good. It's coming out 2028, so EA Sports has a few years to change it. I think I might be a little bit reformed. Oh my goodness, I might be a little bit reformed because all of a sudden I thought EA was the worst company in America. Then they make college football, they're making improvements to Madden and Dynasty, and they just make college basketball. What? I know. They're making the turnaround. Either that or my views have changed. I don't think they've changed. I mean, I'd still rather play PS2 games than PS5 games, but who knows? Anyways, we did the Suburban League week 1, or last week I ought to say. And of course we did the Federal League and the Greater Cleveland Conference in week 2, or today. What will we be doing next week? Let me take a good look at it, folks. Let me take a good look. Looks like we will be doing the Southwestern Conference, which is not surprising. And, of course, we will be doing the, forget what conference Chardon's in, along with Kenston and Mayfield. But you got the gist. You got the gist. It's always good. I'm trying to check where it is. They are in the Western Reserve Conference. That's where the Western Reserve Conference. Good golly. How did I forget that? I do not know. But what I do know is that it's always fun here. That was what I had for this week. Can't wait to see what happens. Because next week we'll be 43 days away from high school football. And then eventually 36. And then 29, 22. 22 follows 15, 8. And then finally time for Tommy's Picks, which will be on August 21st. Should be entertaining. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it too, because I'm Tommy Maroon. And of course, I have a YouTube channel on YouTube, of course, WHBW, which is home of Highland and Baldwin Wallace Athletics. Trying to pull it up. I'm at 759 subscribers. Not too shabby. I haven't posted a lot lately because that's just how it is in the summer, you know. But what I do know is that Tommy Maroon here, thanking you for watching WCTV. I will catch you next week. So long. Peace out. Goodbye.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.